in an opportunity for redemption. A rematch has been announced, and people are going to be looking forward to this. If you followed the sport of boxing and you know that there are some fighters who can provide a great deal of action, and such is the case for the rematch that will be Lewis Crocker versus Patty Donovan. These two fought before, and the way that ended was not pleasant. So they're going to come together again. September 13th, it's been announced. Let's talk about this rematch that'll see these two men come together and once and for all settle their differences in an all-out welterweight title fight. All Irish matchup. The one thing about boxing is there are stories upon stories to be told. And now that it's been announced that September 13th, Lewis Crocker and Patty Donovan are going to face each other again for the IBF welterweight title, September 13th, again, as I said, in an all-Irish matchup. This kind of harkens back to the old days of boxing. And it bears paying attention to, because just because it's an all-Irish matchup doesn't mean it's not going to be a good fight. Their first fight called a great deal of attention, ending inside the distance, but not by knockout. This ended by DQ. That's right. Patty was DQ'd in the 8th round, and this was after point deductions in both the 6th and 8th rounds for his intentional headbutts. He was doing a lot of dirty and illegal tactics in the bout that he was winning. When you looked at it, he was ahead on the scorecards, but he just couldn't help himself. And I had remarked as I was watching the fight, I was saying, man, this young man is actually doing quite well, but he couldn't help himself from fouling. And I don't know if it was the Irish in him that was going up against another Irishman that he just had to show superiority factor in as far as physicality. But you have to give Crocker a great deal of credit because he did not respond or retaliate. And in that dreadful 8th round, Donovan had an advantage where he had hurt Crocker and had him reeling somewhat, but he actually hit him after the bell that ended the round and everything and had been headbutting. And the referee just kind of was like, I've had it. That was Marcus McDonald, the referee, whom I've seen him in a great deal of fights. And actually, he had reffed a couple of fights after this particular first fight between Crocker and Donovan. And I had spoke about how could you go from one fight officiating perfectly, and then the subsequent fight after that, he kind of goofed up. So I don't know if he was trying to do a makeup call with a different environment, but in this fight, he got it right. These two men fought at the SSE Arena in Belfast. And so there was a hot-headed crowd there, and maybe Donovan just felt like he needed to be physically superior. But listen, Crocker was able to hang in there, and both of them had entered the fight undefeated. If I'm not mistaken, when they originally faced off against each other, Crocker came in, he was 20-0, and Donovan had come in being 14-0. They're 2 years apart in age, with Crocker being the elder guy at 28. He's also an orthodox fighter, whereas Donovan brings a southpaw stance in there. They're the same height, and the two of them just have a different style and approach to fighting. But in this first fight, they were rumbling, and it looked like Donovan had the advantages, being able to shoulder his opponent off and catch him from outside and mid-range with shots, whereas Crocker was trying to get in close. He was covering up a great deal, but he was fighting. He was engaging, but not without the fouls. So when this fight takes place, we're going to have to find out whether or not the fouls will be a part of it. This fight will be held in Windsor Park, Belfast, this time. So will cooler head prevail? Because when you look at the two men and what they've done, there have been opportunities for both men to display their wares and usually come out on top. Now, Donovan, he has faced previously the likes of Louis Ritson and William Andres Herrera, Danny Bell, Sam O'Malson, and Luis Eduardo da Silva. When we look at Crocker, he had been in against Conor Walker, Jose Felix, Tyrone McKenna, and also Graven Mendoza. So different types of opponents for both men. And again, this can end up being an ethnic competition, but at the same time offer some value. The IBF welterweight title is on the line, and one of these men can turn out as the champion. I say it can turn out because we didn't expect the first fight to end in a DQ, but it did. Now Donovan, who will come in under his moniker, The Real Deal, we're going to find out if he's truly the real deal, or will he succumb once again to Crocker, known as the Croc, because he's going to do things, and I'm sure he'll try to get Donovan off track with tactics, maybe even whispering in his ear a little bit. It's going to be interesting. But the first fight was entertaining as well as engaging. And I can recall when it took place, there were people who didn't watch it. But when I did my post-fight, people were talking about, I might need to go back and check this out. Yeah, I always tell you to watch boxing. Don't just look at the guys you're familiar with. Watch the sport, because the sport can be very intriguing as well as entertaining when you present a great deal of participants who are from different walks of life, different parts of the world. We all have feelings and thoughts, but there's sometimes something a little bit refreshing about someone being unknown or foreign to you. And that's what I hang my hat on when I talk about the sport of boxing. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what your thoughts are about these two gentlemen facing off in their rematch coming up this September. As we get closer to the event, I'll have a breakdown for you at that time. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.